Alright, so in this video, I feel like I need to address a few things here. I feel like a lot of people are just not understanding the message that I'm trying to put out. They're not actually listening to what I'm really saying, and maybe it's just because I'm not presenting it in a way that they're understanding it. So it could be my fault. There's just been a lot of division between people trying to do gematria. People are just all over the place, and people are seem so mad at me about saying that I think the Warriors are going to win, when I've mentioned multiple times in my videos that it doesn't matter who wins. The only reason that I cover sports is because the sports, the themes, and the numbers are also connected to current events and also events that maybe are coming up in the future. But also, on that same line, in regards to sports, I just don't get what the big deal is if I think that the Warriors are going to win. Maybe I should just say, I don't care. Right now, I'm just going to say it. I don't care who wins. I have shown coding for multiple teams. I've even showed coding for the Oklahoma City Thunder at one point in my videos. Me personally, and I have mentioned this, I just think that the Warriors have a better connection. If you go back and watch, I believe I was the first person to even put the video up about LeBron James shooting 9 of 23 on November 4th, and he shot 9 of 19 on 11/2 or November 2nd. And clear back in that video, I had wondered if that was a sign that the Cleveland Cavaliers were going to win. As it moved along, I remembered how in the All-Star Week last year, everything was connected to the All-Star Week. There was a lot of connections in regards to Space Jam and Valentine's Day and Lupercalia and whatnot. So even before the All-Star game happened, I noticed that there was a possibility of a back-to-back theme, and then it ended up happening. Zach LaVine won back-to-back slam dunk contests, and Russell Westbrook won back-to-back MVP of the All-Star game. So I thought, crazy, the Warriors are going for back-to-back championships. And as I've moved along, I started noticing how much they're actually using this back-to-back theme. And it's not just in sports. Like I said the other night, I even seen it on TV where they were talking about back-to-back Sandra Bullock movies. Back-to-back equals 69 in gematria, as I learned as I moved on, just like Cleveland Cavaliers. So I still think that it has something to do with the Warriors, but I've mentioned that it doesn't necessarily have to deal with the Warriors, because the Cleveland Cavaliers are connected to the two back-to-back. And if you actually watch these games and you listen, you cannot deny the fact that they are saying back-to-back on purpose multiple times. They want you to know back-to-back, whether it is for the Warriors to win back-to-back or if it's just for something else. And that's the whole point. I've even mentioned this. All of the information that I'm presenting, I'm trying to break it all down. I'm trying to figure out what exactly is being used and why. And I'm trying to compare it to previous sporting events that I've covered and watched. And I'm going to take that information and I'm going to follow it through with the World Series this year. I'm going to follow it through with the Super Bowl next year until I can figure out, for myself at least, how exactly it's being done. And if people just can't understand that, I don't know why, I'm trying to perfect the system. That's why I'm showing multiple things for for multiple teams. But in the end, it doesn't matter who wins. These sporting events are coded to other things. The back-to-back theme, I said back-to-back equals 69 in gematria. There's a lot of 69 stuff in regards to death that has happened all year this year. World War III in Gematria equals 69. Donald Trump is 69 years old. That could be a connection. You know, there's just Tupac's mom dies at 69. There's just lots of connections, even uh, Cancer or whatever, the astrology symbol is a 69. 1969 also, the year that we supposedly went to the moon with Neil Armstrong. And I talked about the moon stuff that YouTube has shown me through my copyright strikes, or that I figured out as I was looking for whatever they were trying to show me. This year will also be the 69th anniversary of Israel being recognized. It'll be on November 29th this year, which just sticks out because World War III equals 69. Israel was created by World War. Now, does that mean that World War III is going to happen? It doesn't. But it is an interesting connection. And I'm trying to present this information in case it does happen, so I can go back and show people, hey, look at this. So anyway, hopefully that explains some of the stuff with the sports. I'm saying take the information I'm presenting. You can go look it up for yourself even. I'm not trying to deceive anybody. Make your own opinion off of the information I'm presenting. If you don't want to know my information, then don't listen to me. I'm not telling you what to believe. I'm trying to show the connections, and I'm trying to figure it out so I can perfect it. With that being said, there's also people that are deliberately coming on to not just my channel, but the past few days I have been getting heckled by some guy or some person out here. And the whole purpose, I can tell, is they're trying to create division. And last night, I actually was kind of pissed off about it. And I did make like a half-hour video on it, but I'm not going to post it because after I listened to it, it's just stupid. I made that video in like a, not really angry, but more of an aggressive mood. And I'm not like that. There's no reason to be that way, especially when I know for a fact that what this person is saying about me isn't true, and it's very obvious that they're doing it to create division. And I'm going to show you this and maybe it's a true person. Maybe it's just somebody being a douchebag, and maybe they don't realize that the things that they're writing in here, they're actually coding the same stuff that I've been getting told. So I've talked about my copyright strikes or my copyright claims and how they were showing me the numbers 134. Just type it in here. 135 and also 165. A lot of these numbers, I thought it was something to do with May 13th. Obviously, nothing big happened on May 13th. May 13th was the 134th day of the year. It could be written as 135. And in Gematria, if you write out 135, it equals 115. If you write out 134, it also equals 115. I don't know the full meaning of this number, but it seems like a lot of the stuff is pointing to this number in regards to whatever they're trying to show me. I also did mention, though, that I've seen it connected to the Golden State Warriors, which I have, and it seemed like it was connected to not positive things, although the Warriors, I noticed every time they scored 115 points, they won. And this is the type of stuff I'm trying to figure out. So they scored 115 points and they always won, but yet they lost their first game of the season 1 month and 15 days into the season. They also lost on the 115th day of the season. Steph Curry got injured on the 115th day of 2016, but yet they won when they scored 115, right? This is where I'm trying to figure out the breakdown and how exactly it's being used. But it also makes me wonder, what is it connected to in real life, not sports? It could be November 5th, right? something to do with Back to the Future. Also Saturn and whatnot. Saturn is 5'11", so it could have something, to do with time. Anyway, I want to show you what I mean by this person, just talking so much crap on me, saying that I'm a government agent and all this, Let me find it here. And some of the things they just mentioned are just insane. But they're on here trying to discredit me for anybody else who comes on here. They might read the comment and then just dismiss my video altogether. And I should delete them. But the thing is that I know this person. They have to have multiple accounts. There was another account that wrote me a weird message about spurious claims and whatnot. I made a video on that as well. And when I went to them, of course they have 0 subscribers, no picture, but they actually subscribed to 2 people, 2 channels, and one of them was a picture of the one eye, and it had 923,000 subscribers, which was super interesting. The other one was 5 something, and this person only subscribes to 7 channels, and one of them was that same channel. So I'm almost positive if they're not the same person, they're coming from the same source or whatever. Anyway, this person goes on to say, if I could find the message here. Hold on, let me find it here. Alright, it's right here. So, since the Warriors lost last night, I get called a fraud and whatnot. The first thing I notice is just the highlighted words. The word lose, and it's not the same with fraud. But just interesting, look at the word lose in Gematria. 51, the number I've talked about associated with the Cleveland Cavaliers. Also, I've talked about it, how it's associated to lots of bad things, like Donald Trump being 15 years, 51 days older than Barack Obama, Queen Victoria dying 51 years, 15 days before Queen Elizabeth became the queen, other stuff that's connected to Philadelphia. Also, I even mentioned how the day that Kobe Bryant, or the Lakers, beat the Golden State Warriors, it was on Kobe Bryant's 1,551st game. And then, of course, the Cavs connections, so it's connected to sports, it's also connected to multiple other events. But look in Jewish Gematria, it just so happens to be the 165, the number that YouTube was showing me with that first copyright strike on the video about 22 Jump Street, 22 in Gematria, well, I wrote 20, 22 equals 165. I made the video about 22 Jump Street that came out this year. The anniversary of it will be the 165th day on June 13th. I put the video out magically 165 days after the movie came out. They gave me a copyright strike 165 days after my birthday. All kinds of stuff. They wanted me to see the 165. So that's what I'm saying. He highlights lose, first off. Just kind of interesting. Fraud. I'll just show you fraud, because it was also highlighted as well. Fraud is 50. I'm not sure exactly what that's all about, Hawaii's the 50th state. Maybe it's something to do with that. Obama's from Hawaii. I don't know. But interesting, if you put them together, fraud and lose, both the highlighted words, just so happens to equal 101. I mean, I have just been pounding this, how everything is connected to Philadelphia. Philadelphia also equals 101. So, interesting just in that first part of the comment. And I'm sorry for doing this, but I just want to prove a point. So, he tells me they are fucked, 108 equals it's over, and that's because that was the headline after the Warriors lost their first game of the season this year. It was it's over, that equals 108. And I said Villanova equals 108, Golden State Warriors equal 108. Why didn't Villanova lose? And this guy's been all about Zach is the man, and I'm a government agent and whatnot. just trying to create division. So I kind of just told him what I thought he might want to hear just to get out of here. But anyway, he tells me that it's different, basically. Villanova didn't score 108 points. So, you see what I'm talking about this coding here? Look, Villanova didn't score 108 points, although they equaled 108, just like Golden State Warriors. So if this guy really does know what he's talking about, because later on he even claims that he's been doing this language for over 30 years. I know what I'm talking about. And I even asked him, where are your videos? How come you've been doing it so long and not telling anybody? Does that mean that Zach and everyone else trying to steal, or, does that mean Zach and everyone else is trying to figure this out as stealing your info? And if you know so much, why are you not telling us and proving it along the way? 30 years, if that's true, is he a Freemason? Or what's the deal, And then he says, I have no interest in sharing this language. YouTube and blogs did not even exist 30 years ago. Blah, blah, blah. I'm an idiot, blah, blah, blah. And then I said, what is Zach doing different than me, and why is it better? Because I thought maybe he's going to give me some clues and whatnot, and maybe some of the stuff up here that I'm going to mention in a second was giving me clues. But I was like, you are so skilled in this language, I want to know why I'm doing a bad job and why he's doing so great. Where did you learn this language? And then his response, of course, the Freemasons will have your soul. Now, how does that make any sense to what I asked? Right? And look what the Freemasons will have your soul is in Gematria. I'll just point this out really quick. The Freemasons will have your soul. The 134 that I have been talking about with my copyright strike claims. And in a second, I'll actually show you the first time that this person even commented on any of my videos was on April 13th, right? April 13th can be written 13/4. And I'll get more into that in a second, but he told me that 108 points is what was significant, right? But I wrote that out in Gematria. 108 points equals 115, just like if you write out 134, just like if you write out 135. Also, in regards to the Villanova stuff, and this is another thing when I'm talking about how it's hard to understand the code and I'm trying to figure it out. Look, Thunder equal 36 the small way, Villanova equals 36 the small way. So does the small way have a certain significance at a certain point and the big way fits to something else? That's the type of stuff I'm trying to figure out. That's why I'm showing so much of the coding. I'm not trying to deceive anybody. I'm trying to figure out why they use it, when they use it, and how. Do you understand what I'm saying? This is why I'm just guessing, or not necessarily guessing, but I found a lot of connections that make it seem like the Warriors are going to win. And I feel like some of the numbers that are connected to the Cavs don't seem like they're going to win, Well, I'm going to say it again. I don't know. I could be wrong. This has been a crazy thing as I look deeper. I just keep finding, every time I find something for the Cavs, I find something for the Warriors that says that was wrong, and vice versa, And before anybody even mentions it, with the 115, I did see that the Cavaliers scored 115 points today. Pretty interesting. They even won by 31 points, a number that I've mentioned I've noticed a lot with winning. So, and LeBron is 31 years old. All kinds of stuff in this little picture here I could talk about. 232, that's like Kansas and the Kansas train derailment and Lucifer and all kinds of other stuff. Or not Lucifer, Satan equals 232. But anyway, I want to move back to this, talk about this guy here. So, like I'm saying, there's so much coding, I'm trying to figure out how it's being used. I keep saying that because I'm trying to make the point, because I think people just aren't getting the point. So the first time that I noticed this person commented, And I didn't think any big deal of it, but it was on my Warriors back-to-back championship theme video that I put out on April 13th. Like I said, 134 or 13/4. And no big deal. They just wrote, "Is this a joke?" And I thought, whatever, no big deal. There's tons of people who come out here and they've never even heard of gematria. They just can't believe that sports could be rigged and blah, blah, blah. It's not that big of a deal. So whatever. Interesting on the 134th or 134 stuff. The next video was 3 days later, and I get a comment about my voice, if it will load. Alright, so the next one was 3 days later, and I'm not sure exactly if that's when he commented though, but that's when the videos were put out. But it says, "Your voice is really annoying." And I thought, no big deal. I have a rough voice. There's absolutely nothing I can do to change that. So whoop-de-doo. Maybe he just doesn't like my voice. Not a big deal. What's interesting, "Your voice is really annoying." Let's check that out on Gematria. And the reason that I mention this is because he mentions this again on May 13th or May 14th when he commented again. "Your voice is really annoying." Look at that, 135. So then, that's why I said, like, "Your voice is so annoying. I get this." And that's what really stood out to me. I thought, what is this person trying to tell me? They keep telling me my voice is annoying. That's 2 times now. But interesting, it was on May 14th, the 135th day of the year. The voice comment from before added up to 135. The first time they commented on my channel was on a day that syncs up to 134. And it's also about the video series that I made about Prince or whatever being at the Warriors Oklahoma City Thunder game. So I just thought that was pretty interesting. And I thought, you know what, I'm going to say something. And I was trying to be nice, There's not much I can do about my voice. Why are you still listening to it? This is not the first time you've told me about it. And I posted a link to my blog. So that way, if he just wants to look at the info that I'm presenting, he doesn't have to listen to my voice, right? And then he just goes off and tells me I'm an idiot and Zach's the leader and I'm just an amateur. I was just telling him, it's not a contest. It's not about who wins. It doesn't matter, I've learned a lot from Zach. I've learned a lot from other people before him. You know what I mean? He's learned a lot from other people as well. I'm sure he's learned stuff from me. It's not about being the best. It's about putting all of our stuff together and creating the ultimate proof of what is really going on. And, I can't speak for Zach, but I'm pretty sure that he feels it's, something similar. Otherwise, why would he even try to help people and show people what he has discovered? You know what I mean? And this person also is on here trying to say that, I'm stealing Zach's information and saying that it's my own. And that doesn't matter whatsoever. I'm not trying to steal his information. I'm trying to use his information along with information I've learned from other people, along with the information that I've also put together. And I'm trying to piece together the puzzle, That's what I think everybody should be doing. Some of the things, instead of arguing about it, just dismiss it and move on. And then maybe it might come back up later on, and you can look back on it and say, oh, maybe we should have been using this. And if this guy was even remotely ever watched my stuff, he would know that I've been making videos since even before Zach had a blog up. I mean, not saying that Zach didn't know all of this and whatnot, but I was making videos clear back in like 2013. I think one of my first videos, or my first video, had something to do with the Boston bombing and Kobe Bryant tearing his Achilles tendon. So I'm not trying to steal his information, none whatsoever. I'm trying to use his information to make my information even that more concrete. I was posting videos about sports too. My second video ever was about Michael Jordan and how there was a bunch of sixes around him. Yes, I had no idea what gematria was. In 2014, I started noticing weird patterns when I was watching the baseball games. I seen like Mike Moustakas hit his fourth postseason home run in the fourth inning, making the score 4-4 on the fourth pitch at exactly 4 p.m. Something like that. There was a ton of like ridiculous, like, no way that is possible. It is unbelievable. And as I kept researching and whatnot, I was into the 88. I was seeing 88 everywhere, right? And I learned that HH is 88 because H is the 8th letter of the alphabet. And that's when I first really learned a small amount of gematria. And even if you go back and watch my videos, I applied that to my own life. And I thought, wow, this is amazing. I have a lot of amazing connections to this number 8. And I added just a little tiny pieces of it in video decodes that I did, like the movie Castaway, right? That's all about he's going to Malaysia when the plane crashes, and we had the Malaysian airline go missing and blah, blah, blah. But he was on the plane FedEx 88, and FedEx in gematria just so happens to equal 44. And at the time, I didn't know what 44 was, but I did know that 44 was half of 88. So I thought that was pretty significant. There was something to it. Then one day, I don't know what day it was, but somebody told me, hey, you should check out this guy's channel. He's basically doing this, but like doing it a lot better, you know? And I went and watched, and I thought, wow, this is amazing. He's like decoding CNN articles and showing that how they're coded. This is absolutely amazing, right? So I started doing it as well. I started noticing a lot of the connections. I even started using it in sports because it was like, holy cow, this is absolutely crazy. It's even connected to sports. And the more you look into it, it's actually connected to literally almost play-by-play sometimes. I mean, how it's done, I don't know. But it is pretty amazing how it's like all throughout the game. It's not just the final score or the final minute or two. All throughout the game, there are attributes to certain numbers that involve certain players and certain teams or whatever. So, that being said, I just wanted to prove a point. I'm not doing this because I want fame out of it. If that was the case, I'd be complaining every day and I'd be trying to, I would be deceiving people by the titles of my videos. I would write, Justin Bieber is a lizard, and then I would make I would just make a deceiving video title to get people to come and watch my video and blah, 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 So hopefully, once again, hopefully you're still with me. Hopefully you understand some of the points I'm trying to get across. This guy just really, really has been on here just driving me crazy. And I know other people can read it, and it makes me look like a bad person. And I'm totally not a bad person. I mean, nobody's perfect, but I'm not the type of bad person this guy is making me out to be. I'm pretty sure most people can see that just by reading through the comments. But, still, I just want to address it because I don't know what the deal was. It drove me crazy last night. It's not that big of a deal. I know what it's all about, But for whatever the reason last night, it got to me, and I wanted to make this video just to prove a point. But anyway, I finally told him, I'm not going to talk to you anymore, even though I later on did, but I told him I'm not going to talk to you anymore, but I'm not going to block you either, because I know that you just have other accounts, whatever. And right when I did that, I got another message on an old video, and we'll just pull this video up here, my Stephen Urkel video, where I talked about Family Matters being from Chicago, and Steve turns into Stefan. I don't even know what this video was all about, but anyway, it's just this person wrote big penis, like out of nowhere, right after I tell this person I'm not going to talk to him anymore. Look at iBrutalZZ, or Brutalize, I'm assuming is what it's supposed to be. $135. I mean, how is it not connected? If this person this Ahmet person isn't coding it on purpose, then it's truly amazing how it's everything that he's doing keeps coming up to the same numbers. And you know, maybe this profile here, it looks like it's just some, like, kid. You know what I mean? Maybe it is just some kid, but what are the odds that out of nowhere, right after I tell the guy I'm not going to talk to him anymore, I get big penis written on one of my old Steph Curry videos, you know, and then his YouTube handle equals that. I mean, that just seems pretty weird. So then, you know, later on, like I said I wasn't going to talk to him, but then that thing came up, and then I mentioned something else. Then later on, I mean, this is all within like an hour span, I get another comment from the same guy on one of my really old videos, or not really old, but June 17th of 2015, and he says, Looney Tune back, or Looney Tune Dan, back with more of his bullshit. Looney Tune Dan, how interesting is that, considering last year, when I talked about the Warriors winning the NBA Finals, it was all connected to Looney Tunes, or Space Jam, and Zach LaVine, the Teen Wolf, who did the Space Jam dunk and won the Slam Dunk contest. I even mentioned how Zach LaVine is from UCLA, just like Russell Westbrook, just like Kevin Love, who wore the number 0, so he was a Monstar. Also, on Valentine's Day, the same day as the Slam Dunk contest, the best player on UCLA was Kevon Looney. I mean, what are the odds of that? It was also the same day that Valentine for Michigan State hit the game winner on Valentine's Day, but Kevon Looney just so happens to play for the Golden State Warriors right now. Except for he's hurt. But he got drafted to the Golden State Warriors. So just interesting, he calls me Looney Tune Dan. Let's look at Looney Tune Dan in Gematria. Big penis also in Jewish Gematria, 222 and whatnot, connecting to the Amtrak derailments and whatnot. But I'm not going to talk about that right now. But what was going to... Oh, Looney Tune Dan. 165. I mean, the odds of that in all of these comments is just insane, you know? And I'm starting to wonder what the point is if they're showing me this. Are these people just leading me astray, you know what I mean, with this? Trying to get me to think of something that really doesn't matter, and they just keep presenting the same numbers in my face so I don't find something else? Or did I really find something with this stuff, and I just haven't pointed what exactly is the point of it, you know? It really just makes me wonder. And no, I wasn't trying to flash 1129 there. I don't even know how that even happens. This trackpad, I've told people a billion times, I don't know, like, I'm just moving it. I know if you go over here, it brings the time up, or it should. Yeah, well, like, I don't get how when I'm moving it over here, it does that too. I don't understand Windows 8. It sucks. So another interesting thing I noticed just now about this video, so June 17th, 2015, wasn't that the same day that the Charleston church shooting happened? I'm going to look that up really quick. Yeah, it was this day, June 17th. So I posted this video about Obama being assassinated the same day. And maybe I even talk about it in this video. I didn't even go back, I didn't re-listen to it or whatever. But interesting, you know, I've talked about how Obama was saying Amazing Grace 9 days after 9 people got shot here. And how Abraham Lincoln got shot died 9 hours, 9 minutes after being shot. Obama would be the 9th president to die in office if he dies in office. The first one was the 9th president. JFK was the last. He was 9 presidents ago. Tons of other stuff with that. So just interesting, I guess. That would be the day that I published this video, and then I get this Looney Tune comment on there. Who knows, maybe 266 views is interesting, because 9/23 is normally the 266th day. Pope Francis, the 266th Pope, Pope Francis came to the White House at 9/23 on 9/23 last year. Came to America on his 923rd day as Pope. But maybe last night the views were different. I can't remember. Also, I noticed this video 11:10 long. My birthday that I've talked about, how it's connected to these three numbers, these three main numbers, 134, 135, and 165. My birthday connected. My birthday just so happens to be November 10th, 11:10. And once again, I've mentioned how it's not about my birthday, it's just about that date. But it's interesting that my birthday falls on that day. Also, interesting, Obama, supposedly from Hawaii and whatnot. Now, this is another interesting thing. It could be nothing, but I just typed this person in, this name on Yahoo here, and some of the first things that come up. So, a whole bunch of Facebook profiles come up. A ton of people from another country, probably, I think it's Africa. But then all of the other big ones are all about somebody who played basketball at Hawaii, right? So, we'll just click on a few of them here. Ahmet, whatever, played at Hawaii in 2007. Interesting, born in 1982, so he's 33 years old. I was born in 1982 as well. September 21st, even interesting for the fact that it can be written as 21/9, right? This number I've talked about, back-to-back championships equals 219. I also talked about how it's connected to the Philadelphia train wreck that happened at 9:23 p.m. It was 219 days before Pope Francis's 79th birthday. Also, 87 days to before 8/7 last year. If you go from 8/7 to the day Pope Francis celebrated his 3rd anniversary as being the Pope, it just so happens to be 219 days. So just super interesting, this guy born on the September, a date that could be something connected to the 219. Also even played, after Hawaii, played in Brussels, Belgium. I mean, just interesting. We had the Brussels attack this year. Also, the guy commenting here, just talking mad crap and hating me, he hates me because of my Warriors pick. That's one of the biggest things that he hates about me. Look at this. I'm sorry, but this is just absolutely crazy. For one, remember in the basketball tournament, in the NCAA tournament, Hawaii defeated California in the first round, and they moved on to play Maryland. Maryland number 5, Hawaii number 13, the 5/13, the May 13th. I mean, or whatever they were trying to show me with this number, the 513, the 135. Super duper interesting. Maryland, one of only 2 states that equals 88. California, the other one. California in Jewish gematria equals 219. A lot of this coding started happening in regards to me making a video about Prince and how it's connected to the number 88. So, just stands out a lot to me. Also, Hawaii. What do you think Hawaii's name is? They are the Rainbow Warriors. I don't find that as a coincidence, Also, I guess, in order to advance to play Maryland, they beat the number 4 seed. So it was literally 13-4, 134. Then they went on and lost to Maryland, 135 or 513. Hawaii in gematria, Hawaii equals this, I spelled it wrong, but hold on. Forgot the A in there. Hawaii equals 51. I mean, pretty interesting in regards to all the 51 stuff I've been talking about. So, I'm pretty sure I proved my point. I just want people to realize that I'm doing this not because of sports. I mean, a lot of times that I do sports, it's because I come home and it adds some entertainment. I'm busy a lot. I work all day long. I got to come home, take care of my daughter. By the time I get to sit down, it's late. I've mentioned this before, but sometimes it's midnight before I even get to sit down. And I just want some relaxing time, Sometimes this gets pretty stressful, You're sitting there just staring at a computer for so long. I don't want to watch cartoons anymore. I just want to do something that feels halfway normal at the same time, But anyway, I want to leave it on one last thing. So I forgot to mention this earlier. So this guy mentions about the 30 years, right? He's been doing it for 30 years. Now, in my brain, anybody who's been doing gematria for 30 plus years, they would know how to spell. Now, it just seems interesting. Up here, he tells me, you have no clue what you're doing and you're misleading everybody. And he spells your the wrong way, right? Who knows, you know? It just seems like if I've been doing gematria for 30 years, I would spell things properly, you know? And it's supposed to be, you know, Y-O-U apostrophe R-E. But and even later on down here, he even spells it right. Somewhere, let's see here. You're wasting your time, right? He spells it right there, but up here he spells it wrong. It's just interesting because in gematria, your, the way it's supposed to be spelled, equals 30, and he's mentioning how he's been doing it for 30 years. Also 84, you know, like the United States of America, like Jesuit, Pope Francis, the first Jesuit Pope. Like, what is it, Barack Obama that equals 84? Or it's Obama, just Obama in Jewish gematria equals 84. So just interesting, Obama's even born on 8/4, August 4th. Your, this way, is 79 in gematria. Just a number that has been around like no other, so Pope Francis turned 79, Ramon James equals 79. I even talked about how it's connected to the Amtrak derailments and Merle Haggard's death, who died at the age of 79 on his 79th birthday. Champion even equals 79. So, you know, I don't know. Just interesting, I guess. If you're doing something for 30 years, you think you'd do it properly every time. I don't know. Feel like that's something I'm supposed to look up. But, gonna leave it at that. Once again, hopefully you understand the points that I'm trying to make. It is not about sports. I do talk a lot about sports, but it's the actual events that are happening in the world that are more important that the coding to sports is all about. And I also just wanted to prove a point that there are people on here that literally come on and attack you, and whether they realize it or not, they are coding messages into what they're telling you. You know what I mean? This person almost has to be not a fake person, but a person doing this maliciously. You know what I mean? So, and interesting, it's all these same numbers that I keep getting shown by the same stuff. So, who knows, you know? I'm going to leave it at that. Have a good one.